We'll start with your lineup. What changes do you have in store today?
Jake Christensen will be in tonight. And Jack Bean will be in tonight. Jake Bean, sorry. And so that takes out Carlson and Harrington. And up front, we should be the same. We got a little bit of a game time decision here, but it should be the same up front.
Is Sillinger the game time decision?
He is, yep.
Okay. Who starts in net?
Corpy will go tonight.
And then I wanted to ask you about your leadership, Brad, especially a lot of adversity that your team had to deal with both on the ice and off the ice. How do you feel like that your leadership has handled everything that's been thrown at you?
So you, as far as offside, are you going like from the summertime and all the stuff accumulated with that?
From summertime, from COVID, just all sorts of different obstacles.
Yeah, no, there's been a lot. There's no question. And I thought they've done a real good job. I mean, it's teams go through these stretches and you know, especially when you're a younger team and you know, these stretches get harder and you don't have the experiences of maybe older teams that have gone through it, what to do and how to handle it. We had that shift in leadership group, and I think they're those guys in our leadership group. Rarely can I look at a game and go, they're not giving it as far as their effort level, their competitiveness, and the things that we're trying to establish here or maintain, I should say. So I think they've done a really good job. I think it's hard. Losing's hard. It's, you know, when you're winning, everything seems to, you know, your mistakes aren't as big. Nobody's talking about the negative things that go on. As soon as you start losing, you know, everything gets magnified, right? Mistakes and different scenarios. And now you had COVID and all the challenges with that, and guys in and out of your lineup with injuries plus COVID, up till every day right now. For the last, feels like for 2 weeks, it's been, you're not sure what your practice is going to look like, who's going to be in. So, but and this is all new for any leadership group. So these guys, I think for the most part, have done a real good job of trying to keep a level head and keep their effort level up every night.
Next question for Lars. Go ahead, Hawk.
Hey, Lars. I'm just wondering with Jake Voracek, you didn't know much about him, but what has surprised you most with him?
Surprise me? I'm not sure if there's many surprises. It's just getting to know the man, right? I think, you know, we hear a lot about, because he had been here before, so some guys knew him, his personality, and Jake enjoys playing hockey, and that's the first thing that comes across. He enjoys being a competitor out there, and you know, and obviously it's a huge milestone tonight. 1,000 games is, I'll keep saying this, to play 1,000 games at this level and be relevant enough and produce at the pace he has it's incredible. It really is to you know, stay healthy enough to do it. You know, it is such a huge milestone. 999 and 1,000, it's a big difference. It really is. And I think someone shared with me it's around 360 or 361 total out of 100+ years. So it just shows you how special that is. And, you know, I was fortunate to play with a few guys that made that milestone, but it's hard. It's to stay, you know, and again, I'll go back to this. Jake is very passionate too. You know, sometimes it gets the best of him, but that's why he's lasted. That's why he's been such a competitor. It's his passion for the game, his love to play the game and be competitive. And I love that about him, that he wants to come to the rink. He wants to play, he wants to compete every night.
And he brings a flavor. Like, I mean, in these situations where it's a struggle, that has to be refreshing for you as a head coach too, right?
You need it. Like I think someone said we're the second youngest team, but we've had when you add up all the games, we've got the least amount of games played in the league right now. So with youth comes that inexperience of going through these times, right? When you're on veteran teams and you go through the grind of it and some of these losing streaks, you know, there's a comfort in knowing that, you know, how to work your way out of it. And when you're young and going through it, we talked about before the season how there's hills and peaks and valleys throughout the season, but you got to feel it. You got to go through it. And where it started for us is when we hit the road against St. Louis and Nashville and Dallas and Washington, some big heavy teams, some teams that are a little bit more experienced, some teams that are top 10 teams contending, and they were playing good hockey. So kind of hits you right in the mouth in that road trip. We get a big win at home. We come back to San Jose, and then we go into Toronto, a top 5 contender, and it was a tough game there. And so you start going through it and the teams that we've played, and it shows our young guys or the youth on our team how hard it is to win. And it's great to have a good start. We're excited about that, but some point it settles in, and then the grind hits you, and you're playing every second day, and sometimes 3 and 4 against quality teams, and those older experienced teams. They figure out, they know the length of 82 games, what it takes, and they kind of settle in there, and it gets harder and harder to win hockey games. So this is all part of our process that we got to go through. It's not fun. It sucks losing. I tell you right now, nobody enjoys it, but we're going to work our way through it, and we're going to grind through it as a group. And this is part of this process for us.
And you just played, last one for me, you just played 2 of the best teams in the NHL. I know you watch everything close, but will you be watching closer these next 2 games for the things that you're asking of these guys?
Sure. Yeah, no, and trust me, they get it too. You talk to some of our leaders, and they understand that, the dial's got to go up on the competitiveness and the hunger and the urgency. And so, it's our job as coaches to watch it closely. We're bringing it more into practice. We didn't get a lot of practice time in that stretch just due to, you got shut down. We had I had added it up. I think we're supposed to, if we would have finished that trip through Calgary, we're 29 to 34 days on the road, which is insane. So, you're losing practice days, and so you lose your edge there. And then when you're losing, it compounds, and you can show a video till you're blue in the face, but you got to work on things. So this allows us to reset a bit and get back to work, roll our sleeves up, and that's what it's going to take. And so I'm not worried about the next 2 games. I'm worried about tonight. And, I want us to have a focus tonight. We're playing a good team again tonight. This is no gimme or freebie. If you think there's one of those, you're a fool, because they've come out of the break. They've played well. I watched the Boston game. They were the better team in that Boston game, and they didn't win. So they're a young, fast team with, they got 2 number 1 picks right in the middle, and that Mercer in the 3 hole there, he's really good. They're a fast, quick team, and if you're not on your toes, you're chasing it all game.
All right, thanks, Lars.
Next, go to Dave Metzold. Go ahead, Dave.
Thanks, Todd. Good morning, Brad. So given all of the things that you're just talking about there, how would you say your team is handling it right now, coming out of 2 pretty tough losses in terms of their attitude and their battle level to get this thing back to where you want it to be?
Yeah, we got kicked in the teeth for 2 games, right? Against 2 elite teams. And if anything, it's a great reminder that we got a long ways to go. I was impressed. We didn't have any big meetings or anything crazy going into yesterday's practice. I was watching very closely, and I'll tell you what, we threw some good competitive battle drills in there. The dial was great. I thought everybody, there wasn't one guy that wasn't giving it yesterday in practice. And one practice doesn't solve it, doesn't fix it. This has to be part of who we are. And I've said it here a few times, but winners watch, winners rest. They get to take that time off. We're not winning enough, so we don't get to rest. We have to put the work in, and probably extra work at this point. And so we're going to do it. We're going to do whatever we can to try and get this team to the next level and continue to build here.
Thanks, Brad.
Next, we'll go to Brian Hedger. Go ahead, Hedge.
Hey, Brad, just wondering without getting into specifics on Sillinger, was this something that was more kind of recent, short term that happened in a game, the last 2, or something that kind of started building up on him for?
It was last game. Yeah, it was a lower body issue last game, and again, we'll see. I think he'll be able to manage it, but we'll see.
Okay. With Chinnikov, obviously there's that whole transition period, him being a young guy, a rookie, and also on the smaller ice and the NHL, all that stuff. Where are you at with him as far as, maybe now as compared to, a month ago or so? Are you seeing progress, or is he just kind of going through one of these deals, where young guys just have to kind of get reps?
Yeah, I think he's like a lot of our young guys. It opens your eyes how hard it is to play in the quality of opponent that we've played. It shows you the level you're going to need to get to. From him, I want to see more speed in his game. He's got great legs, and I think he looked a little tentative here, especially this last 3 weeks or so. He can attack so much more. He's a strong kid. I haven't seen enough of that. But again, that's not a knock on him. This is stuff that young guys go through. I think he's not the only one. You have to feel it. And he's learning a small ice game too. He's played on the big ice his whole career up to this point. You got more time, space, you got more room to wind it up and get that speed. Here it's different. Things happen. The transition both ways happens much quicker. Your decision making, he's got a lethal shot. He's got to find ways to get it off quicker and find those areas and pockets on the ice. And we're going to work through it just like everybody else. And I think, this is part of his growth and his process of going through it also.
We had talked earlier, in camp, especially about how important this year was going to be, especially for a guy like Bemstrom, at his stage in his career. And then he gets the injury and then he's off for a long time. I know he's had a couple of, looked like maybe some rough games the last couple too. Where do you stand between, rust factor, he was off for a while, and maybe do you see signs of him squeezing the stick a little bit, trying to do too much?
Well, he's trying to get up to speed, guys. I mean, he's missed a ton of hockey. He got hurt, and it's not his fault. But it's hard to miss that amount of time and jump in the middle of the season here where everybody's at. So he's trying to get up to speed. He's got to put the work in practice, and yeah, he hasn't. I don't think he's played his best hockey by any means the last couple of games, but we're going to try and work with him, get him the ice time that we feel like he's earned, and see if he can get up to speed here. It's a challenge. It's, there's a lot there to like, but when you get hurt, you miss a lot of time. You're playing catch up in the middle of the season. It gets real hard. So I'm hoping for him, the more practice time, we've been able to practice a little bit more here, and maybe that'll help him get into a rhythm, into a game.
Yeah, different circumstance too, but I mean, does that apply with Line A bit too, because he was out so long?
Sure. Yeah, he missed a ton of time. Like I shared with you guys, he only skated 6 or 7 times in 8 weeks. And then, the decision for him to come into that Nashville game was that he was able to get 4 practices. So we're talking 10 times in 9 weeks of practice to get into the NHL rhythm again. And that's, I think adrenaline helped him through game 1, but again, timing, the pace of the game, who we're playing, it's a lot there. You can't manufacture that. You can't emulate that or simulate that in practice until you play games. You got to play games. So it's taken some of these guys some time, and I'm sure it'll take a bit more here, but hopefully sooner than later they get to their best game.
All right, thank you.
And next we go to Dave Metzel. Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, just one more, Brad, real quick. You get even younger tonight with Christensen going in the lineup. He's been around a little bit. What do you like about what you've seen from him, and what are your expectations, I guess?
Well, I haven't seen him much, so I don't know what I like or don't like yet. I got reports and got to see him in camp a bit, but then he got hurt. So, the book on him is he can skate. He's got a good ability with the puck. His competitiveness has gone up this year as far as on the D side of it. That's something that he was certainly working at. So, he's earned his way up here, and he's going to get a look tonight, and we'll see where it shakes out. I'm excited for him. Anytime you get to see a young man get his first game in the NHL, you can see that, you see that twinkle in their eye when you tell them they're going to be in. It's fun for them, and he'll never forget it. He'll play tonight, and he'll never forget that game.
Yeah, odd situation where you got a first game and a 1,000th game all happening on one night.
Yeah, I told him, he's got 999 to catch Jake if he stops tonight, so he's got a long ways to go.
Thanks, Brett.